Shawty made that ass clap, she don't need no applause. High fashion, like Goya.
Another video, and today, we doing a story time about how innocent little me found out I was pregnant. Pics will be inserted in the video. Okay, let's get straight into it. Okay guys, here's how I found out I was pregnant. So for my birthday, I went to a little hotel getaway or whatever, and maybe like 2 days, 3 days after my birthday, I actually remember like it was yesterday. May 3rd, my hips were spreading. I was smelling a bunch of weird smells. I'm like, what is going on? And I was constantly feeling I really didn't think I was pregnant. I just thought I was like going through something, or my body was just like going through something, or I guess. But I just was so in denial about being pregnant. So one day I'm just chilling in the house, and my mom and my sister, we was all talking about like our periods and stuff, because you know we're all synced in. We live in one house. So girls, if you know, you know. So as we sitting in her room, we chilling, she was like, y'all, I got really bad cramps. My mom, she was like, I got really bad cramps. My sister was like, well, me too, and mine's finna go off. So I'm sitting over there like, okay, well, that's y'all. And then they was like, so have your period came on this month? And I'm like, this month? Nah, it's probably a little late. I was like, due to stress and stuff, you know. And she was like, okay. And then so a couple of days later, that conversation was like 2 weeks after May 13th when I started feeling all these symptoms. So after we had that conversation, I text my boyfriend. I was like, hey, we need to go to the doctor. We need to go see what's up because I feel like I'm pregnant. And then he was like, but you took the pill. I was like, I know that, but I feel like I'm pregnant. So I convinced my sister to ride with me to Walmart. So we rode to Walmart and I got a pregnancy test. I took the pregnancy test. She didn't know I bought it. I've had to tell her, oh, you have to go to the car and get this or get that. So she went to the car while I was checking out. So I put the pregnancy test on the counter, and I was just thinking while I'm checking, I'm just like, Lord, please, God, please don't let me be pregnant. So I get the pregnancy test, we ride back home, and I'm just looking at it. So I turn the shower on like I'm about to get in the shower. So I'm sitting on the toilet, and I'm like, should I take this? So I took the test, and I flipped it over, and then I got in the shower. So when I got in the shower, I was preparing myself. I was like, whatever this test say, you gotta deal with what you gotta deal with. You know what you did. If you're pregnant, you're pregnant. If you're not, thank God. So I was giving myself prep talks. Like every time I'm in this like a bad situation, I give myself little prep talks to, you know, make myself feel better. So I was giving myself a prep talk, just letting myself know, like, if you're pregnant, you got this. If you're not pregnant, then thank you, Lord Jesus. So I get out the shower, dry myself off. I'm like stalling at this point. I'm just doing way too much to not look at this test. So I finally flipped the test over. And I looked at it. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I was kind of confused. The test is gonna be right here. So I flipped the test over, and I'm like, am I pregnant or not? Because it was like, if you ever took a pregnancy test before, you know they have one line, then they have a faint line. So I had one full line, and I had a little fainted line. So I'm like, what does that even mean? So I sent the test to my son's dad, and then he was like, what does that mean? I was like, I think I'm pregnant. And then, what do you know about the faint lines? I was like, nigga, I don't know. I never took a pregnancy test before. Google will send you for a damn runaround. You Google for one thing. Okay. Google will see you through the damn runaround. You Google for one thing and you come out with fucking 50 other Google things. Pregnancy test, and it was like, if you have a faint line, that means you're pregnant. But another one was like, if you have a faint line, that means you're not pregnant. As long as you don't have 2 bright lines. I'm like, now I'm confused. I don't know what to do. So I started wearing waist trainers. Waist trainers. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I was wearing waist trainers. So then, like a month later, we finally went to the doctor. We went to an urgent care. And I told my mom and my sister that I was going out to get ice cream. I had to make up a little lie. I couldn't tell them I'm going to the urgent care to see if I'm pregnant. No. So I said, I'm going to get ice cream. I'll be right back. So get in the car and we're talking. We're just like, what are we going to do if we're pregnant? And then I'm like, I don't know. So from there, it was just a silent ride till we got to the urgent care. So we got to the urgent care and I went inside, signed my name and everything like that. And so they proceeded to call me to the back. So when they called me to the back, I had to take a pee test. They had to get my little heart rate thing and all that. You know, they had all the little doctor stuff. So when I got all that done, my results came back. The doctor came inside and he was like, have you been eating? I'm like, no. He was like, have you been sleeping? I'm like, no. He was like, have you been overwhelmed or stressed out? I'm like, yes, I have. And then he was like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 19. And then he was like, well, you have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to get your diet better. So I'm like, why are you telling me all this? He was like, Miss Kane, you're pregnant. And I'm like, you got the wrong results. You must got my results. I told him, I was like, you must got my results mixed up with somebody else who came here for a pregnancy test. He was like, no ma'am, here's your name right here on the clipboard with your pee sample. I'm like, no, you're lying. I'm just sitting here at the table, I'm like, you're lying. So when he told me that, he was like, no, Miss Kane, you're pregnant. And then so I was like, take another one. So we took another test. I had drunk like so much water. And we took another test. And then he was like, same results, congratulations. And I just instantly started crying. And then he was like, do you have support? And I'm just sitting there lying like, no. I was like, yeah, I was overwhelmed. So he was like, do you have support? I'm like, no. And then he was like, well, I'm here if you need anything. He was like, do you want to take my number down or anything like that? Because I can help you through this journey. I'm like, I'm okay, sir. Thank you. You was just doing your job. You told me what I needed to know. So as he trying to give me papers and all that to show that I'm pregnant, I'll completely ignore the man and I'll just walk out the office. So my son dad already knew what was up. When he said me crying, he just was like, he was just shocked. He was like, oh my God. And I'm just sitting there crying. He seen me sitting on the edge of the curb, just crying. But before he came, the first person I called was my best friend. I was like, Bess. She was like, what? I was like, I'm pregnant. She was happy. And I'm like, I'm happy too, but I don't know what to do. I'm 19. I was like, I'm everybody. I disappointed everybody. And she was like, no, best friend, you didn't disappoint me. I'm happy. I'm here for whatever you need. I'm happy. I'm here. So I'm like, okay, cool. I got my best friend's support. And let's see if I get his dad's support. So when his dad came, he was happy, but he was also like shocked. I mean, that's everybody's reaction when they first find out they're young, have a baby on the way. So he was happy, but he was also like scared to go on my porch. And I'm like, fuck, what am I gonna do? And then he was like, are we keeping it? I'm like, yes, we're keeping it. And then he was like, I'm just trying to make sure we're on the same page. Because I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I was on Google looking up stuff. Like, I'm a Google fanatic. I was on Google looking up stuff. And then I guess just to like ease my mind or something, but I just knew from the jump I was gonna keep it because I knew what I was doing. So he was like, I'm just trying to make sure we was on the same page. To tell our parents, like, how are we gonna tell our parents? How are we going to tell our parents? So as soon as we're talking about how we're going to tell our parents, we already figured out that we're going to keep it. His cousin pulls up, literally, like a minute later, his cousin pulled up and was like, hey y'all. And then she instantly knew something was wrong. She was like, hey, Michaela. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm light-skinned, as you can see. When I cry, all of this in my face, it turns red. My nose, I look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. My nose was red, under my eyes was red, above my eyes was red. Like, and my face poofs up really bad when I cry. So she was like, Michaela, what's wrong? Everything okay? I was like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm just going through a lot right now. And then she's just looking at me like this. And then I'm like, okay, she don't know. She don't know. She don't know. She don't know. And then she came, she left. So I get back home from the ice cream date, and my sister was like, are you okay? Is you okay? And I'm like, shoot. Sometimes I hate when my face look like that when I cry, because it's just like everybody can notice when I cry. So my sister's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm just sitting on the toilet, and I'm like, I'm sitting on the toilet, I'm like, no, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. She was like, what's wrong? I was like, I'm pregnant. She cried. I'm like, oh my gosh. And my mom coming here and see her crying, it's just, I'm gonna have to tell her. So somebody come through the door, and I'm just pacing back and forth. I get off the toilet, I'm pacing back and forth, pacing. And then I'm like, oh God, I hope this not my mom. I hope this not my mom. My sister is in her bathroom crying. So I'm like, I hope that's not my mom. I hope that's not my mom. It's my brother, my older brother. And he came in, he was like, who died? That's the first thing this nigga thought of, talking about who died. I'm like, shit, ain't nobody die. Who finna come into this world? Like, what? And then he was like, so what's going on? I was like, all right, well, I'm pregnant. And then he was like, yes. It made me feel good on the inside. So he was happy, and I'm like, you support me? He was like, I support you. I'm here for you, whatever you need. So I told my best friend, my sister, and my brother. I wasn't gonna tell nobody except my best friend, but you could tell that I've been crying. I was just on an ice cream date. So while I'm coming back from a date, face all red, tears in my eyes. So I told them, and so me and my sister, we still in the bathroom. We trying to come up with a plan how to tell my mom. So my sister was like, how about when she hear you, don't tell her by herself. When she come in with auntie, then you tell both of them right then and there. And I'm like, that's a good idea, because if I tell her by herself, then she might like spaz out. So as soon as we created this plan, y'all, it was like God was just reaching out to me. As soon as we made this plan, they came through the door. Both of them, my mom and my auntie, came through the door. And my sister was like, go tell him. I'm like, no, I ain't telling him. No. I punked out, y'all. I punked out, and I was like, no, I'm not telling him. Lasagna for dinner. And as I'm eating lasagna, I'm like, hell nah, I feel sick. Like, I was just like, no. I took one bite, y'all. I'm like, hell nah. I ain't never ate lasagna and started feeling like this. So I put my plate down. My mom like, you good? I'm like, I'm good. I'm sweating. She was like, you sweating? She was like, you hot? I was like, nah, I ain't hot. I just feel sick. As soon as I said I feel sick, she was like, you want some water? So she brought me some water, and it just came all up. I ran to the kitchen, and it just came all up. I threw up in the trash can. It came all up at one time. She was like, you okay? And I was like, yes. And I was like, I have to tell you something. She was like, what? I was like, what if I told you that I was pregnant? She was like, I would be happy. I've been waiting on you to make me a grandchild. I was like, what? She was like, I didn't think it was going to be this soon, but if you are pregnant, then I'm happy. And then she was like, you pregnant? I was like, yes. She was like, how do you know? So I told her everything. I showed her the test. So the next day, my grandma comes in the house, and I tell my grandma, and I didn't expect a good reaction from my grandma, and I just knew I wasn't going to get one. So I told my grandma, she's heated. She was drinking her little Hennessy. She put her cup down and she left. Like, she was upset. And I'm like, I'm going to finish school. I'm not going to let a baby stop me from doing what I have to do for myself. And I'm not doing it for myself no more. I'm doing it for this little person inside. I walk out and I start crying. I'm a sensitive person, and then me being pregnant just made it worse. So I was really real emotional. And then so my mom was like, she'll get over it, she'll calm down, she'll come around. So eventually she came around, and then we told his cousin that's like his sister first before we told anybody on his side. You know, me on my side, I was just spilling the beans. We all live in the same house. I'm dreaming about fishes and all that. And I'm like, that stuff really real? People really dream about that? So she was just already giving me little side hints that she already knew, but she ain't know for sure. So yeah, I had to tell them on my side, because I'm living in the house with everybody. I have to let them know. I'm not living in the house with my boyfriend's family yet. I'm not living in the house with them, so they don't know like the changes that's going on. So it's his cousin, but it's like his sister. We text her, we tell her, got her support. We tell his little sister, like, no, I swear. So she got her support. So now it's time to tell his parents. His mom kind of scared me. Like, I don't know. His mom and dad just kind of scared me. Even though they're like really cool, nice people, loving people. I love them. And it's like, but they just, you know, they just scare me. So at his grandma's house. So as we're at his grandma's house, his mom there, his sister there, everybody there. I forgot what was the occasion, but everybody was there. So he was like, you riding with me to take my mom home? I'm like, no. I'm like, no, why would I do that? And then he put me to the side. He was like, we can tell her. I'm like, no, you can tell her. So, okay. He get in the car with her to take her home. He texted me. He was like, I'm finna tell her. I was like, oh my gosh, y'all, I'm scared and I'm not even in the car. So he told her, and when he told her, we had her support, but of course, you know, their parents, so that he was, you know, there was gonna be a little upset. So like a couple of days went by, everybody started, you know, being happy, joyful. Everybody knew that I was pregnant. And I mean, at the end of the day, he's here now. Well, it's a boy. He's here now. I'm doing I feel like I'm doing a good job, but I feel like I could be doing more. You know, I feel like I can give him more. I feel like I could be doing more right now. I think I'm doing okay. I feel like I'm doing okay. I don't feel like I'm doing good. I feel like I'm doing okay. When I'm able to do more for him, then I feel more accomplished as a mom. But right now, I don't feel like I'm doing a good job. I feel like I'm doing okay. But my son, he's well taken care of. He's my world. Like, I'm about to cry again. Y'all forgive me. I told y'all I'm an emotional person. But my son is my world. He's everything. And I wouldn't trade anything. I wouldn't trade anything. I wouldn't reverse anything. I wouldn't go back in time or nothing. None of that. It's like he really gave me a purpose. And I can't let him down. I can't let myself down. And most importantly, I can't let the man above down, God. So God gave me him for a reason. And he knew I needed him. And I need my son more than he needs me. If you know what that means, if you're a mother. So that's a story about how I found out I was pregnant and how I told everybody that I was pregnant. And now Kai is here. He's 1. He's about to be 2 in January. Right now he's 19 months. Zach, he's about to be 2 in January. And it's been a journey. It's been a journey. And a journey that I'm willing to ride all the way out until I can't ride it no more. And the only way that's going to happen if I'm dead. You feel me? So that's it, you guys. That's how I found out I was pregnant. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. And make sure you tune in to the next video. And we're going to be dropping bangers. Comment some pranks below. Comment some challenges below. Comment any videos below that you would like me to do. I'm new to YouTube, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I know, thank you guys for blowing up my last video. I mean, it's not really blowed up, but I got 100 views in 4 days. So I feel like that's a good accomplishment for a small YouTuber with little to none subscribers. So thank you guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be back with more bangers. Boom.
Shawty made that ass clap, she don't need no applause. High fashion, like Goya, G-Wag.